Thank you for accepting our invitation. Uh, Hari Parshad Prabhu, just a brief introduction that I would like to give to the rest of the devotees, God brothers, God sisters. He's a Diksha disciple of His Holiness Vadra Govind Goswami Maharaj. He is an accomplished Sanskrit scholar. He has studied the Ashtadhyayi and completed translation of the commentary of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's Manasiksha, and he's also a member of ISKCON's Shastrik Advisory Board. Of course, he's very dear to our Srila Gurudev, and he always assists our Srila Gurudev in many of the Shastric works. So we are more than happy to have His Grace Hari Parshad Prabhu amongst us. Prabhu, kindly excuse us for not providing you a garland and also a seat to welcome you on this pandemic, but please accept our virtual garlands and also our obeisances. And we would now request you to address us on the meaning of Vyasa Puja and also give a short description about it. Over to you, Hari Parshad Prabhu, as I spotlight you on the video screen. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can you hear me, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu, we can hear you loud and clear.
Yes, thank you so much, Haridas Varya Prabhu, for kindly inviting me to speak here today. Actually, I should also thank His Grace Shyam Govinda Prabhu for uh, asking me to speak here today very kindly. So I'm thankful to all my dear friends who have kindly invited me here to speak. And a very happy Vyasa Puja to you, dear Sri Srimad Indradyumna Swami Maharaj. We are very happy and fortunate to have you in our lives. We are fortunate because we have joined International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We are more fortunate because we have Srila Prabhupada's books to guide us. But we are most fortunate because we have Prabhupada's disciples like your good self to always be there for us, because your invaluable guidance, your very presence in our lives is what makes our connection to Srila Prabhupada and the Guru Parampara very strong and rigid. So yesterday was actually Vyasa Purnima, Guru Purnima, and since you are Anu Vyasa, you are following in the footsteps of Vyasadeva. So today we are having Vyasa Puja for you today, and I would like to briefly speak upon the meaning and importance of celebrating Vyasa Puja. So I'd like to share my screen, and I would like to speak something about Sri Vyasa Puja today here. So the entire event is named as Sri Vyasa Puja, when in fact it should be called Sri Guru Puja, because aren't we celebrating here the festival of Sri Guru's appearance? So why is it known as Sri Vyasa Puja? Because Sri Vyasadeva is the original guru of all the Vedic sampradayas, and in the footsteps of Sri Vyasadeva, all gurus are following and delivering the message of the Vedic literature. The meaning of the term Vyasa is to elaborate upon something, to expand something. There is an opposite term of Vyasa, it is called as Samasa. So Samasa means to contract something, to join something, but Vyasa means to elaborate upon something. And to elaborate upon what? To elaborate upon Vedic literature, to elaborate upon all the instructions given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is the meaning of the term Vyasa. And any individual who is a perfect representative of Vyasa also gets the title of being Shri Vyasa. And that individual gets also to sit upon Shri Vyasadev's asan, which is known as Shri Vyas asan. So Shri Guru is for us Shri Vyasadeva, and we give the Vyas asan to Shri Guru, and on the appearance day of Shri Guru we celebrate Shri Vyasa Puja, because the exact benediction that Sri Vyasadeva has given for all of us, that exact same benediction is also given by Sri Guru to us. There is a very nice verse which Srila Prabhupada used to quote in many of his talks. This verse is from the Shvetashvatara Upanishad, and this verse is as follows. Yasya deve para bhaktir yatha deve tatha gurau tasyaite kathita hyartha prakashante mahatmanah. So this verse from Shvetashvatara Upanishad says, Yasya deve para bhaktir. For he who has para bhakti, pure devotion, unto Deva. Deva means unto Lord Shri Krishna. The one who has pure bhakti unto Shri Krishna. Yatha Deve, and just as one has pure devotion towards Krishna, Tatha Guru. Similarly, one has pure devotion towards Shri Guru. Tasya ete kathita hi artha prakashante mahatmana. So all the imports of the Vedic literature are revealed to such a personality automatically. So this is the translation that Srila Prabhupada gave to us. Only unto those great souls who have implicit faith in both the Lord and the spiritual master are all the imports of Vedic knowledge automatically revealed. So there is a very nice pastime in Vedic literature about this particular verse and this particular Siddhanta. How is it that simply by serving the Guru, one gets all Vedic knowledge that is available? So there is a very nice pastime mentioned in the Mahabharata Adi Parva about how the mercy of the Guru can make somebody completely well versed in Vedic literature. So there is a pastime in Mahabharata of a boy named Aruni, and this boy was a brahmachari disciple of his guru. His guru's name was Dhaumya. So Dhaumya had many brahmachari disciples, but two of them were very particular in their natures. One of them was Upamanyu and one of them was Aruni. So Upamanyu, he was very learned, very scholarly. He memorized everything that the Guru told him to memorize. And so Dhaumya was pleased upon Upamanyu. And Dhaumya blessed him that whatever you have learned from me, you will always remember, you will become a nice Vedic sage. So Upamanyu was blessed by Dhaumya because he was good at learning. But then there was Aruni, and Aruni was not such a good student. Aruni was not good at learning, but he was very sincere at heart. So Dhaumya gave a service to Aruni. The service was to take care of the cows, to take care of the calves, and to take care of the agricultural fields around the ashram. So in this way, Dhaumya had two prominent disciples, Upamanyu and Aruni. And Upamanyu was always learning the Vedas, and Aruni was always taking care of Sri Guru's fields, his cows, etc. So many of the disciples thought that Upamanyu is the true recipient of Dhaumya's mercy. But on one particular day, it rained a lot, and it rained so much that the rivers started overflowing. When the rivers started overflowing, the canals and the embankments that were made in the fields, agricultural fields, those embankments, they started overflowing. And one of the embankments broke, and all the water from the river started coming inside the fields. So at that particular point of time, somebody came and informed Dhaumya that one of the embankment has broken and all the water is flowing inside the field. So Dhaumya was a bit concerned, so he immediately asked Aroni to go there and fix the embankment. When Aroni reached the embankment, he saw that the water was overflowing in such a way that he would have to immediately fix that, or else the entire water would ruin all the crops for the season. So what Aroni did was he tried to fix it by putting some mud in that place where the embankment had broken. But as soon as he would try to put some mud, immediately the flow of the river would wash away that mud. So Aruni tried a lot to fix it, but ultimately he could not fix it. Then Aruni thought, what should I do at this point of time? And there Dhaumya in his ashram was teaching Upamanyu and the other students. So it was evening time and Aruni did not return. Dhaumya became very concerned that my disciple Aruni has not returned. They waited till night, but Aruni was not back. And even at midnight, when Aruni did not come back, they all became worried that maybe something has happened to Aruni. So early morning, Dhaumya, along with all his disciples, including Upamanyu, went looking for Aruni. And when they went looking for Aruni in the morning, they saw Aruni. He was near the field and he had successfully protected the field from the overflowing water. What did Aruni do in order to protect the field? Dhaumya saw that Aruni himself was lying at that very place where the embankment had broken. And using his own body as protection from the overflowing water, Aruni had prevented the crops from being flooded. All the disciples saw that in the cold, chilly night, Aruni laid down in water in order to carry out the service of Sri Guru. At that time, Dhaumya was so pleased on Aruni that Dhaumya gave a benediction to Aruni that Aruni, from today onwards, all the meanings of the Vedas will become completely clear in your heart. No portion of the Veda will remain unknown to you. Simply by rendering this service to me, you have pleased me immensely. So, by this benediction, Aruni became the most learned disciple of Dhaumya. Although Upamanyu was very learned, but the most learned disciple of Dhaumya was Aruni. Aruni was so learned that his name is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam when the Rajasuya sacrifice of Maharaj Yudhishthir is mentioned. So, dear devotees, this is the importance of performing worship, performing puja of Sri Guru by carrying out all of his instructions through our mind, through our words, and if needed, like Aruni, through our entire body. So, dear devotees, on this day, let us pledge to serve Sri Gurudev in all these ways with all our heart. The Hari Bhakti Vilas very clearly says, Prathamam tu gurum pujya tataschaiva mamarchanam kurvan siddhim avapnoti hyanyatha nishphalam bhavet. This is a statement by Krishna in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. One should worship me, Krishna, only after worshipping Sri Guru first. Kurvan siddhim avapnoti. By doing so, one obtains all success. Yanyatha nishphalam bhavet, or else everything turns into a grand failure. Dear devotees, the first worship should always be offered to Sri Guru, and one should never harbor any negative thoughts about Sri Guru, because sometimes some disciples harbor some doubts about Sri Guru. The Hari Bhakti Vilas says that irrespective of what is the nature of Sri Guru, we should always consider him as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Hari Bhakti Vilas says, Avidyo va savidyo va gurureva janardana margastho vapya margastho gurureva sadagatihi. Avidyo va savidyo va. Whether the Guru is without knowledge or full of knowledge, like our Srila Indradyumna Swami Maharaj, he is full of the knowledge of pastimes of Vraja. He is full of the knowledge of pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, irrespective of the knowledge that Sri Guru has, Guru Reva Janardana, he is a representative of Lord Janardana. Margastho vapi amargastho. Whether Sri Guru appears to us to be on the correct path, margastho, va api amargastho, or the incorrect path. But still, we should never judge Sri Guru. We should always understand Guru Reva Sadagati. He is always our shelter. And finally, the Hari Bhakti Vilas also says, Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwarah, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmat Sampujayet Sada. Gurur Brahma. Shri Guru is a representative of Shri Brahma. Gurur Vishnu. Shri Guru is a representative of Vishnu. Gurur Devo Maheshwara. Shri Guru is a representative of Lord Maheshwara. Guru Eva Param Brahma, and Shri Guru is the Supreme Brahman, Bhagavan Shri Krishna himself, who has come to us in the form of his servant. Tasmat Sampujayet Sada. Therefore, on this day, and not only on this day, on each and every day, we offer all our respects and worship to Shri Guru. This verse is so important. My Guru Maharaj, Shri Srimad Radha Govinda Das Goswami Maharaj, when he met Srila Prabhupada first, Srila Prabhupada and him, they immediately developed a relationship of Guru and disciple. And my Guru Maharaj used to always address Srila Prabhupada as Guru Bhagwan. So my Guru Maharaj always used to call Prabhupada as Bhagwan. Hey Bhagwan. So he always used to call Prabhupada as Bhagwan, as the Supreme Lord himself who has come in the form of his servant. So today we are blessed to have Shri Guru manifest in front of us as Srila Indradyumna Swami Maharaj. His very name is so special. Prabhupada gave him such a special name. Indradyumna. Indra iva dyumnam yasya. Whose dyumna, whose power is equivalent only to Indra. Because in the entire heavenly planets, there is nobody as powerful as Shri Indra, or whose dyumna, whose wealth of knowledge is equivalent only to Indra. So there is no personality equivalent to Indra in the heavenly planets. Similarly, there is no personality equivalent to Sri Indradyumna Swami Maharaj. When it comes to spreading the glories of holy name, when it comes to preaching in the battlefield of the material world. So dear devotees, today is our opportunity to glorify such a wonderful personality who has so mercifully appeared in our lives with all sincerity in our hearts, without any duplicity. Today is the time to glorify Sri Srimad Indradyumna Swami Maharaj. Maharaj, I am personally so thankful to Bhagavan that you have been sent in our lives. I am very thankful that you have given such nice nectarian Krishna Katha to all of your disciples in the past year. All of us, not only disciples, but all of us admirers and followers of you, have benefited so much from your Krishna Katha, and we sincerely hope that Srila Prabhupada blesses us with many, many more decades of your association. We want to see you always healthy. We want to see you amongst us, and we want to celebrate many more Vyasa Pujas each and every year, so that we all can be so happy hearing your Hari Katha. We all can remain inspired. Please keep your blessings upon all of us, especially this, fallen person Hari Parshad Das, so that I too will be able to serve the Guru Parampara just as you have served. If I can get even a small percentage of the preaching capability that you have gotten by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, I'll consider myself to be very fortunate. So Maharaj, today is the Vyasa Puja day. Today you have to be merciful upon us. You cannot say no to us. We are all your children. So please don't say no to us today. We have come to you with so many desires. Please fulfill all of our desires, Maharaj. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.